Ahoy hoy, this is Michaela from Team Retro, where we like retro games, we like roguelikes, and we like the devices that bring them to us. So anybody who's followed the channel knows that I am a big Pokemon fan, and Pokemon Legends Arceus comes out today. And I'm about 10 hours into the game, and I'm actually really enjoying it so far. However, the game has made a few fundamental changes that if you've been following Pokemon for a long time, may be a little bit jarring to you once you get started in this game. And the game doesn't come right out and tell you about these changes, one of them being EV training or effort values, and actually how to EV train your Pokemon in this game. So I figured on the game's release day, I would just put out a quick video and just show people who are just starting off with Pokemon Legends Arceus how to actually EV train. This is a way to make your Pokemon stronger in certain stats, and the system is actually closer to the Pokemon Let's Go series than it is to the actual mainline series. So I'm going to show you how to farm the materials you need to EV train your Pokemon and how your EV training will impact each stat. Full disclosure, there are some minor spoilers in this video, but I'm not going to talk story and I'm going to try to keep the spoilers to a minimum. This is going to be a short but informative video, so let's jump in and let's get started. So here we are at Jubilife Village, and I'm heading over to the Pokemon Pastures. And at this point in the game, I've defeated the first noble Pokemon, and you could see here some of my Pokemon are actually hanging out in the pastures being taken care of by this woman named Marie. And at this point in the game, she's giving me dialogue that will allow me to release multiple Pokemon at once. And this game is very focused on catching Pokemon, so as you could see, I've amassed quite the collection just in the first 10 hours. So we're actually going to hit the X button to release multiple Pokemon, and we're going to go through and we're just going to let a bunch of these Pokemon go. And there are no IVs in this game, but there are EVs and there is nature. So as I'm going through and selecting these Pokemon to be released, I'm also taking a quick glance at their stats on the right because I'm hanging on to the ones that may have higher stats than others. But you can also see as I'm scrolling through, right next to their stats, there's a number in a circle, and that number is the Pokemon's effort level. So EV training is definitely very different because instead of raising your effort values up to a number of 252 in a certain stat, you're actually only going to raise that stat to a level of 9. However, you're also not limited to only raising 2 or 3 stats. You can actually raise all 6 stats to an effort level of 9, very similar to in Let's Go where you can raise every stat to an AP of 200 with Candy. And there are no vitamins in this game that I have seen, so what we're actually doing is we're going to farm for an item called Grit Dust. And then that item could be further updated into Grit Gravel, Grit Pebbles, and then there's one more Grit item to get that final effort level. And I'll show you that a little bit later in this video. Alright, so at this point I've gone through and selected who I'm going to keep and who I'm going to release, so we're just going to click X to release and yes to confirm. And this decision is final. Those Pokemon are going to be gone forever. At least until you go out into the world and catch some more. Alright, so now that we've released a bunch of Pokemon, we're going to back out of the menu, and we're going to end up in another dialogue here. And an NPC named Oscar is going to come right up to me and tell me that the Pokemon that I released left something aside. So at this point, he's giving me 25 sacks of Grit Gravel, and then I'm also getting some Grit Dust. And the Grit Dust will upgrade my Pokemon's effort levels from 1 to 3, and the Grit Gravel will upload their effort levels from 4 to 6. So let's go into the menu and let's do that now. I'm actually going to demonstrate on my starter Pokemon Duat here. I named him Shen. So let's start with the Grit Dust, and we're going to go down to stats here that have an effort level of 0, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the Grit Dust to increase the effort levels to 3, which will then increase these stats. And I'm going to do that for everything but special attack because he doesn't need effort values in special attack if he's going to be a physical attacker. Now let's go ahead and use the Grit Gravel, and we're going to use the Grit Gravel to raise effort levels from level 3 to level 6, and you notice they gray out the second that I hit level 6. So at this point we don't have the materials that we need to upgrade his effort level any further, so in order to fix that we actually have to go to the training ground in the village and talk to an NPC there. And her name is Zizu, and she's actually a very important NPC because not only will she trade your Grit Dust for higher level Grit items, but she also teaches your Pokemon new moves. She's basically the replacement for TMs in this game. And when you tell her you want to exchange items, this is where you can give her 10 Grit Dust for Grit Gravel, you could give 10 Grit Gravel for Grit Pebbles, and then you have to give 10 Grit Pebbles for a Grit Rock, and the Grit Rock will be the last thing you need to get that last effort level in on a stat. So right now I don't have enough to get a Grit Rock, but as you can see, I was able to get a couple of Grit Pebbles, and I was able to trade some Grit Dust for Grit Gravel. And the best way to grind for these grit items is just to go out and catch Pokemon and then go back to the village and bulk release them. Really quick, I'm just going to go ahead and use this Grit Pebble on Shen's HP just to get that up to effort level 7. And that's it. I'm going to have to go out in the wild and catch more Pokemon and come back and release them to increase these effort values even more. Which does seem quite a bit grindy, but you can also argue that EV training in general is grindy in itself. And this is optional, you don't have to do this, but it will make your Pokemon stronger and it will make the game a little bit easier for you. Alright, that'll do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Just a quick video for you today. If you have any questions or you want to talk about this game, please feel free to do so in the comments below, and you can also keep the conversation going in the Budget Aquaman Discord. I'll leave a link to the Discord in the video description. Again, thank you so much for watching, and if this video was helpful to you in any way, please be sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, bye for now, and don't stop believing.